On Skype, talking to me from Washington, D.C. is a duo who are part of a band that, according to their Bandcamp page, push the barriers playing reggae, lovers rock, punk, dub, ska and jazz. Aram and Dunia are part of the band Dubistry. Hello!
Hello!
How are we doing today?
Very well, thank you.
Oh, you're sounding very happy. I like that. It's good. Looking at my research, although to be fair, it looks like it was back in 2017, there are 6 members in the band, is that right?
That's right.
More or less.
And who does what?
Well, I usually do some singing and I play a little ukulele.
I play the bass.
And we have Matt Urbania, who is our guitarist. Todd Nocera is our keyboardist. And Rashad Randolph is the drummer. And my mother, Amandila Best, is a percussionist.
Oh, lovely. Whole family's involved almost.
Yeah. Try to get as many people in there as we can.
Dunia and I are married too, so that makes 3 of us technically who are family members after 6.
I was about to say keep it in the family, but that sounds slightly wrong. Okay, let's move ourselves along. Offbeat Intro strives to involve and educate the listeners with new music. Can you catch them up to date as to the band Dubistry's history?
It all started, let's see.
You've got to go back to the early 90s, my love.
I got to go back to the early 90s. So I had a band called Agent 99, which is a ska punk band out of New York. And our bass player was leaving us. And I re-met Aram after an 8-year period. I met Aram first in high school, and then I re-met him 8 years later at a party at the house of a band called the Slackers. He was playing the bass, and I thought I'd need a bass player, and he was also pretty cute, so I got his number.
Yeah, who wouldn't?
I was pretty excited about it myself.
And his roommate predicted that he would join the band, get the girl, and then the band would break up. And it did. So then after that, we started a band called Brave New Girl, which was a kind of soul jazz. We called it Neo Soul, but that's before Neo Soul became Neo Soul. Then we moved to Los Angeles, and we met. Right. So in New York, we met Todd Nocera, our keyboard player. And then Aram and I moved to Los Angeles, and there we met Matt. And that is where Dubistry started, with my brother Ahmed as the drummer. We also had a DJ and a percussionist in LA. And that's what the initial Dubistry sound was, kind of more of a drum and bass sound.
The original demo from 2003 on Spotify, it's on an album called Freeway. And you can hear that's, it's got all these drum and bass beats and then kind of dub bass lines. And right. Dunia's using more of like a kind of a punky vocal approach.
It was more like a live drum and bass sound. And then when we moved back to New York, we rejoined Todd, and, we met Rashad, and we kind of went more into a dub and ska feel from there. That's kind of where we are today.
Yeah, so we still gig a lot in New York, even though Dunia and I live in Washington, D.C., and then sometimes Dubistry gigs in Washington also. But we've also have various parallel projects happening when we can't get all 6 of us together in the same place at the same time.
Right, so Aram and I also play together, sometimes with a drummer, as just Aram and Dunia, and we do kind of an acoustic punky reggae sound.
So in that band, I'm playing upright bass and Dunia's playing ukulele.
Lovely. Okay. Well, I think that's caught us right up to date, hasn't it? So why don't we go into the first of your tunes? What would you like us to play?
How about Give It To Me One More Time?
From the band Dubistry, Give It To Me One More Time, from our featured artist in Offbeat Intros this time around. Now we look at the bands and artists that helped you to create your own sound. Can you tell me about some of your influences, please?
Let's see. We used to be very good friends with Ariep of the Slits, and through her we met our good friend Holly Cook. I feel like it's more like a kinship than, because she's a little younger than we are. She used to babysit our son. We just come from a lot of the same background musically. I always love the way she fashions a tune.
Yeah, I would say it's kind of a modern retake on the two-tone ethic. It's this idea that there's something inherently limiting and to a certain degree racist about traditional music industry genres. You belong in this category, you belong in that category. And from the very beginning, even back in the Agent 99 and Brave New Girl days, Dunia and I were always interested in saying, like, yes, we love the reggae, we love the ska, but there's no reason that punk shouldn't be part of this. There's no reason that jazz shouldn't be part of this. So if you ask about the influences, we're primarily interested in those artists who managed to transcend those kinds of boundaries. And yeah, Ari Up and the Slits and what Holly Cook is doing these days are excellent examples of that kind of vibe.
Yeah, a very valid point. I can see why she's an influence to many people. Let's look to the next influence that you mentioned to me before, closer to home for myself, The Selector.
Oh, yes. The Selector is an absolutely top influence. Pauline Black has always, from the very moment I saw/heard her, instant kinship, instant relation with her. And she's always been very nice to me every time I've met her. And,
She gushed over you. It was beautiful to see.
Yeah, it was really wonderful to, it's always pure joy seeing her play.
It sounds like you're both very great fans of each other.
Yeah, I mean, Pauline is like, she's the woman.
Well, it's always humbling to watch Dunia interface with these artists that, we admire so much because, there was, especially when we were younger and starting out, there was always this feeling like they were kind of handing her the baton, like a kind of recognized game vibe going on and watching Dunia emerge into this tradition and to gain the respect of her elders and peers and in the musical tradition has been I've had a front row seat to that over the past couple of decades, and it's been an incredible voyage to watch.
Yeah, even Vivian Goldman, is a dear friend now, but she wasn't, before. We were just fans of hers before, and that's been an incredible thing, meeting her and knowing her and touring with her. And yeah, it's been really great.
You've mentioned that you've met two of your major influences. Can we go 3 for 3? Who have we got next?
Well, another one of my favorite dancehall queens is Sister Nancy. And Aram actually got to meet her.
Yeah, that was really cool. I gave a talk actually about the history of music and technology and copyright in Berlin last year. And the musical guests included Sister Nancy, who was one of the highlights of the event. And we got to spend a fair amount of time together backstage, her and me and the Mad Professor. It was amazing meeting a hero of mine. And, she just tore up Bum Bum live in concert. Amazing. It was a beautiful thing to behold.
He kept sending me photos. I was in ecstasy watching from across the water.
Oh, I wished you were there with me so much. You would have had a really great time with her.
You'll just have to organise it again for her.
Yeah, right?
That's a great idea.
Ooh,
Sister Nancy, if you're listening, come and hang out with us in Washington, D.C. or New York City.
If she's listening, Sister Nancy, come and talk to me first.
Seriously.
Right then, what should we play from her?
Well, the classic Bum Bum. It's all over the airwaves in New York City when Aram and I started playing together.
Yeah, I mean, she uses, the classic rhythm, the Stalag rhythm, which goes back to Toots and the Maytals back in the 60s. But for some reason, even though there are like 1,000 different songs or maybe 10,000 different songs that use this rhythm, Bum Bum is the one that like everybody thinks of when they hear it. And whenever, we use it, we do a kind of medley of an original song by Dunia called Murder for Rent with Murderer and a couple of other tunes all kind of mashed up together.
Murder by the Selector.
Yeah, and we kind of switch up and go from the Murderer rhythm into Bum Bum. And like every single time we do it, the entire crowd goes crazy
bananas.
Because everybody loves that rhythm. And when they think of that, Sister Nancy's Bum Bum is what they think of.
From the album 1-2, released in 1982, Sister Nancy and Bam Bam. I am still with Aram and Dunia of the band Dubistry, and we're now looking to the future. What's the plan? How's 2020 looking for you and beyond?
Well, Aram and I do a lot of playing with Vivian Goldman, so hopefully we'll do some more of that this year. We also have our duo, the Aram and Dunia show, what I've been lovingly calling it.
I think we're going to try to cut a demo for that project this year.
Acoustic punky reggae coming for your ears.
Sounds good.
And,
is it going to have a brand, a name, or are we sticking with the original?
I think we might be sticking with the Aram and Dunia show for now.
We kicked it around a lot. We talked about calling it The Guarantee, which was the name of a supermarket that my great-grandfather had. We talked about calling it Bowery Exiles because we're from the Lower East Side and no longer afford to live there. We thought about calling it Empire of Two. We actually put out a song under the name Empire of Two back in 2016 called Let Us Live.
It sounds a bit like a metal band.
It doesn't it? See, that's part of why I couldn't.
My last name sounds like a metal band, right?
It's true. Sinreich.
Exactly. Like you can see the umlauts sprouting out from it.
Extra umlauts everywhere.
And we've also got this one other project that we're working on we're actually in the process of making a demo for, which we're doing in conjunction with another songwriter based here in the U.S. named Maggie Clifford. And it's acoustic opera about climate change. But it's really, musically speaking, uses the same kind of elements that Dubistry and Brave New Girl have used.
And I'm also working on a project with Mark Wasserman and Roger Apollon, who used to play in a band called Bigger Thomas, now playing in a band called Rude Boy George. Also Honeytail Coleman. And it's called Heavensby, and that's a kind of a two-tone ska feel stuff going on there.
Yeah, and they just dropped their first video, which is like a tribute to Rankin Roger. It's amazing.
Rude Original Suave. It's very sweet.
There we go. Well, everyone should go and check that out. It sounds like you've got lots of individual projects. I suppose because you moved, Dubistry's a little bit more difficult to sort things out for.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull that together for a new recording, actually. I'd really like to, have us do more. It's expensive getting those guys out of New York.
Yeah, so the downside of that is we're gigging less with Dubistry than we used to, but the upside is that the gigs we do have are like festivals and like really nice, big audiences and stuff. So in a way, it's like Dubistry has moved up to the next echelon, even as it's doing less live shows than it used to.
Any festivals that are happening this year that you can tell us about, or is it all a bit hush-hush at the moment?
Right now it's a little on the DL.
No worries, I understand that completely.
Waiting for confirmation.
Yeah, nothing more embarrassing than saying, yeah, we're going to be here, and then they get wind of you being all cocky.
Gears are moving.
Understood. Okay, well, we look forward to hearing more from you, and if you do get any updates that you'd like me to share, please do let me know. I believe the song that you've sent across for me is a little bit of an exclusive.
Oh, yes. No one's heard this outside of our little ears before. This is a remix done by the infamous Victor Rice. I hope he's infamous. He's a pal of mine from the New York City ska days in the 90s. And he's produced this lovely remix of our cover of Joni Mitchell's Blue.
And I just want to say, Dunia's arrangement of this song is totally revelatory, right? Joni Mitchell is obviously one of the most influential songwriters in the American songbook. And most people who cite her as an influence or who cover her work tend to do it while kind of overemphasizing the kind of acoustic singer-songwriter, woman power with an acoustic guitar kind of vibe. And Dunia just completely reheard this song, this classic song of hers, Blue, as a heavy kind of dub tune. And whenever we played it over the last couple of years, and we recorded it on Fuel for the Fire on the Dubistry EP, people, as soon as they figure out what the song is, start going nuts because it's a way of hearing it that they've never thought of before. And it really, I think, adds to Joni Mitchell's legacy in a really nice way.
Well, that is quite the introduction. Let's give it a listen and see what everyone thinks. So, what do we think? Remixed by Victor Rice, it is Joni Mitchell's Blue. Really, really like that, guys. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's nearly time for us to say goodbye. Is there anything else that you'd like to try and get across before we go?
Well, I'd really love for everyone to follow us on Spotify and get onto our Bandcamp page, just sign up for our mailing list on those sites. Just keep listening. Put us into your playlists.
I'll go the other direction and say, in addition to wanting to get our music across, I want everyone else out there who loves music to make as much as they can and share as much as they can, because what we're dealing with in the US and the UK right now, and the insane kind of right-wing hatefulness, is the opposite of what reggae and soul are all about. And I think
ska, yeah.
And I think the music is what's going to get us back out of it and get back to a time of love. So go out there. If you I hear people all the time saying, oh, I wish I had musical talent. I love music so much, but I could never play. Stop telling yourself that terrible story. Go learn to play the favorite instrument that you've always wanted to play and put your music out into the world, because we need it. The words of wisdom are from Dubistry. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for talking to me. It's been incredibly interesting. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for reaching out and having us on the show.
Big up to Offbeat.
Oh, thank you so much. Now, as with every single artist that ends up being featured in Offbeat Intros, notes. You guys will have your own page on the website where we can have people listen to some of your tunes, check out any videos that I can find, and I'll put all of the links that you've mentioned for your Bandcamp and Spotify and that kind of thing. I'll shove that on the page as well. It can be seen at offbeatreggae.com.
Wonderful. Thank you.